Korey Lee sends this one deep to left field, and it is gone!
Do you have 2 hours of This Is Your Life in you?
If we get paid for the hour, yeah.
They'll take care of you.
There you go.
I'm not paying you.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, let's talk about your journey to the major leagues. You were born in Southern California, 𝗻𝗀, California, just outside San Diego. What were you like as a kid?
I was a sports guru. I played different sports. I was outside every day. I played water polo, I played football, I would play baseball. I had an older brother, he's 10 years older than me. He's the one that introduced me to baseball.
10 years older than you, what kind of effect did he have on you? Because that's a big gap,
Yeah.
And he was also into sports as well.
Yeah, he taught me everything I know. I give a lot of credit to him. I was a bat boy for his college team when I was 8, 9 years old, and I was in a college dugout at that age, which is probably not the best thing, but I learned a lot of things outside the field, good and bad, and then I learned just playing the game hard. They had a really, really good team over at UCSD where he was, and it was just a good group of players to look up to as a kid, and good people to teach me the game.
He was able to come to games. We stayed really close, and in fact, he was our bat boy. He would enjoy in all the dugout antics, and one of the coolest things I was able to share with Korey when he was younger was our home run celebration. He would be waiting at home plate with his skull cap on, holding my bat, and we have a great picture of it actually, of us like tapping helmets right at home plate. It was our little celebration. Fast forward actually to my wedding day where he was my best man, and he delivered an unbelievable speech at, I want to say, age 17. He actually brought that celebration back and said, you know, I know we celebrated a lot of home runs when I was younger, but I'm really celebrating your best home run yet. And he brought the skull cap from being a bat boy to my wedding day. It was pretty incredible.
He keeps me grounded. He's also part of the mental game for the Mariners, so he helps me on that side of things. And then just everyday life stuff. I go to him. He's a good person to have in my corner. As a kid, that age difference was different, but now that we're older, I'm 26, he's 36, we can kind of connect on a different level now. So that's something that I'm really, really lucky to have.
What kind of competitor were you at that age?
I wanted to win. I'll always want to win, whatever it is. If it was playing in the backyard, if it was wiffle ball, if we're bowling, whatever it is, I'm a competitive person, so I'm always going to just try to get that advantage.
Take a look at Lee running this one out. He thinks he's got a base hit here, and he's running with everything he has. He's got much better than average speed for a catcher, and as you can see, foot on the bag before the ball's in the glove.
Losing sucks more than you want to win, and I think I take that to heart a lot of the time, and winning's cool, but I think losing does hurt.
All the field is overturned, the runner is safe. Chicago keeps their challenge.
He chose to play one of the hardest sports on the face of the planet, arguably the hardest sport on the face of the planet, so failure is inevitable. And despite this pure hatred of losing, he does an unbelievable job of maintaining a really clear perspective and mindset just to approach the next day, go get after it the next day, because you're gonna have to do it 162 games in the big leagues.
As they throw down to second by Korey Lee, and gunning Jonah Heim.
Wow, what a cannon by Korey Lee.
Were you always a catcher?
No, so I played shortstop, I was third base, I was pitcher. I did everything, and then college happened, and I always knew that catching was going to be in my skill set. But once I got to college, I sat down and I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I would play summer ball and I would go to the infield and mess around, but catching has always been my happy place, I guess you can say.
And why is it your happy place?
That's home for me. Going behind the plate, I get to know what happens before the play even happens, I think, and I think that's the cool part of the position. I'm game planning every single day. I get to talk to the pitchers, but then I also get to be a position player at the same time. Sometimes you see the pitchers and the position players going on separate ends, but I'm that middle person, so I get to kind of be that glue between them.
How did you decide you were going to go to Cal?
So that's a crazy one. I was actually originally committed to University of Arizona my sophomore year. I was all in to go into Arizona, and then Senior year came around, they got a new coach. They started recruiting more players. They over-recruited. Had dropped me my senior year, so then I was in the middle of water polo season, quit water polo, went to camps, went up to a camp at Cal, and did my thing. They loved it, and then they offered me, and then that's how I ended up at Cal. It was basically the one option that I had after the whole dilemma with Arizona, so it was really, really fortunate to end up at Cal at a university like that.
So you go to Cal, and there was this teammate of yours by the name of Andrew Vaughn.
Yeah.
Early memories when you first saw Andrew Vaughn on a baseball field?
It was one of the first times that I got to see a true hitter. That was at that caliber. Like I said, and I had no idea what I was doing in high school. I was the athlete. I put a bat in my hands and I would swing. And then when I got to Cal, I was watching this guy hit, and I was just like, dude, like I've never seen this. And then the more impressive thing was him going over to first base and playing the first base that he did. And he was not slower back then, but he just didn't know how to move. And then now, obviously, we get to see him play almost a Gold Glove first base. He still gets to hit the way that he hits. It's always been the same. Andrew's always been Andrew, and it's really, really fortunate to have a teammate and also a friend like that.
Really, like the capstone of his career came in his junior year when they were playing University of Oregon at home. He had a walk-off home run against one of their really, really good relievers. That moment to me kind of really solidified his career is going to take off. It was the exclamation point to the end of that junior season prior to the draft.
All right, so on draft day, I know you weren't really focused on the draft. You were just trying to be where your feet were, but what do you remember about getting selected by the Astros?
Yeah, I was watching the draft for Vaughn. I was just watching the draft for a lot of guys I played.
But you were just more concerned about Andrew Vaughn getting drafted, not you.
That's the only thing that I was worried about. I was watching the TV. I was with my brother. We just got back from our regional, and my brother lives up in San Jose, so he picked me up from college and went and watched the draft. I was actually going to fly home that night. My parents were flying home from the regional in Arkansas, so they were actually mid-air when the pick happened, so they didn't even know. But I'm watching the draft. Vonnie got picked third or something.
Yeah.
I think it was third overall. Just had some other buddies getting picked, and I had no idea. I was sitting there just minding my own business. The flight started happening, getting closer, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm going to cancel the flight. I'm just going to watch the draft here and hang out.
We anticipated probably somewhere in the top 5 to 7 rounds, and we get to about I want to say like the 23rd or 24th pick. And I get a text from my former teammate who works for his agency, and it says, hey, are you with your brother? And I said, yes. And he said, we're going to call him. He should answer the phone.
I got the call on the 30th pick. Phone started vibrating from my agent or advisor at that time, and told me that he actually asked me what I was going to sign for.
And then his face goes blank. I've never seen him kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening.
And I told him an amount that was very minuscule compared to what I signed for.
And he hangs up and he's like, I'm getting drafted in the first round to the Houston Astros.
Next thing you know, they told me that I was getting picked in the first round on the 32nd pick, and like I said, all emotions left me on that moment.
With the 32nd and final selection in the first round of the 2019 MLB draft, the Houston Astros select Korey Lee, a catcher from the University of California, Berkeley.
And like, we all lose it. We start crying. We embrace each other. We drive straight to the mall, buy all the Astros hats on the shelf. I have a picture of my 3-year-old son in his pajamas with like rain boots and like an Astros hat on, because it was at 9 o'clock at night and he was still up. Like, I'm getting chills just even talking about it. Just like being there, present in my living room, eating pizza, and everything changed.
And it's a moment that still get chills, and it set me up to be where I am today. So it's a memory that I'll always have.
You were drafted in the first round by the Astros, 2019, and 2020 occurs. and it's COVID.
Yep.
What happened? How did that affect your life? Certainly your baseball life.
Yeah, COVID. It was a hard time, obviously, in the world. I took full advantage of it, though. I was still young in my career. I only played short season, and then I go to spring training. Spring training gets banged. I go back home. I'm not knowing when we're going to go back. So that was the start of, I guess, the whole grind thing. And I changed my body. I would work out every day. We would hit every day. It gave me time just to go train and get ready for professional baseball.
But when you went back home, you didn't just go back home to train. What did you do? You bought a pitching machine.
Yep.
You hit a batting cage built.
Yeah,
Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah, my dad and I, we put netting all around the backyard. Bought a pitching machine. I built a mound in the backyard. We'd play baseball like kids again, and I think that enhanced my whole development really, really well. I think it made me go in the right direction, body-wise, mentally, and everything. So it was a really, really good time to just put the head down and just play baseball.
All right, so when you got called up to the major leagues,
Yeah.
let's go back in time. What was that day like?
I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We were playing against the Isotopes, and I got called into to the office from Mickey Story, and he told me the news that I was going up to Houston. Bawled my eyes out because I had no idea it was going to happen.
Bawled your eyes out. Not
Oh, yeah.
everyone does that.
Oh, yeah.
Why did you?
Just all the feelings just hit me all in one time, and obviously, grown man cry, and it was a feeling that I've never had before. So emotionally, it was there. All the hard work, all the time that I got away from family, whatever it was, it just all hit me in one motion. Obviously, I called my family.
And he's like, what are you doing next week? I'm like, that's a really weird question to ask me. I'm in California, you're in Texas. I don't know what you mean. And he's like, well, I'm going to be playing in Oakland because I'm going to the show, is how he delivered it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I start freaking out. I don't even remember what I say. I think I blacked out as I was driving, probably not safe. But like, because I'm like, do you have a game tomorrow? Are you active? And he said, yes, I'm going to Houston tomorrow. And I'm like, forget next week. I'll be on the first flight out to Houston tomorrow. I'm not missing this. Because this was July 1st of 2022 when he debuted. So then July 4th rolls around and I'm planning to go home. But he tells me, he's like, hey, I'm starting on the 4th. First career start. And I'm like, well, I can't go home now. I'm here. So his first career start was on July 4th. Martin Maldonado was on the team then and gave him his Stars and Stripes gear to wear as his first career start. So I have a really cool picture of the video board at Minute Maid Park in Houston of like just him wearing like Captain America is what I call it. Looked like Captain America catcher's gear.
Your first major league hit happened.
Broken bat.
Was that?
It was a broken bat.
It was a
broken bat to the left side of Oakland A's.
Magical.
Yep.
With the Astros leading 1-0. Now broken bat, base hit into left field. Korey Lee's first major league hits an RBI single. The Astros lead 2-0.
All the guys out of the dugout. That's a beautiful thing. As his first hit baseball comes in, Maldonado picks it up and fires it into the seats. Oh, welcome to the club, Korey Lee. Big league hit, big league RBI with one swing.
And it was in Oakland.
Yep.
You were back in where you played college.
Yeah, we had a lot of family there. I had a lot of friends there. It was cool. I got to actually go out to dinner with friends the night before, and then they showed up for that game, and I was telling them that I was starting, and they were all like, dude, like this, you're gonna get your first hit, you're gonna do it.
Feels good to do it here in the Bay Area in front of family and friends, family right there enjoying it.
And I think it's funny that was a broken bat also, so I still have the broken bats all taped together, got the ball and everything, so it was a really, really cool moment.
And you had 3 hits in that game.
Yeah.
There's a quote from you after that game.
Uh-oh.
It's a good quote, and I want to know what preceded this, because the quote is, I said it was going to get done here, and I did it.
Yeah, I think that goes into the mentality. You got to walk up there knowing that you're going to get a hit every time, and you walk up there feeling defeated, then it's not a good sign. So I go up there every single time saying that I'm going to get a hit, no matter if it's a swinging bunt, if it's a homer, a line drive, whatever it is. I think it's a good mentality to have going in there and knowing that you're gonna do something well.
I want to circle back to your brother, who's the mental, what's his position with
He oversees the whole minor leagues on the mental side of the game. So he's not a mental specialist, but he helps out minor leaguers. I don't know where I would be without him on the mental side of the game. Just gives me little tidbits and some reminders. I think the biggest thing is just reminding yourself that you belong and you've done all this work to be where you're at today. So then at the end of the day, just go be an athlete and trust what you've done in the past to set yourself up now.
You know, most players say this game is north of 60-70% mental. He understands that, and it's really cool for him to see him take ownership of like doing a lot on his own, but also using me there because he knows that I can tell him the truth.
Yeah, but how big is the mental game in this sport?
I think it's the biggest thing out there.
We're more than physical, which is interesting,
yeah,
right?
we're all physically athletes. We're all good. We can go throw a ball 90 miles an hour or go swing a bat. But I think what goes on in the mind controls a lot of that stuff. And I think if you have fully control over the mind, then I think you're going to be able to play well at the end of the day.
So I saw him in his first career start, so I got to see his first career big league hit. And then later that year, the Astros won the World Series. I flew to Houston for Game 6 of the World Series. The only milestone I haven't seen was his first major league home run because it was in Kansas City.
Oh, Korey Lee got a hold of this one into left field, and there is his first home run. That month in Houston last year, just joining the Sox this year. Somebody get that baseball.
Well, that one went a mile as Korey got every bit of it.
So you're in the major leagues, and then soon after that, you're sent back down to the minors. What did that do to motivate you to want to get back to the major leagues?
Like you just said, it just made me want to get back to the major leagues. It gave me that little cup of coffee. It gave me that taste. It let me know what I had to do, and I think it was honestly good for me because I took what I learned in that month of the big leagues to go down to AAA, and I made AAA like the big leagues. I think you can do that just with yourself. Obviously, you're not going to have the facilities, you're not going to have the players, you're not going to have the big stadiums, whatever. But I think you can approach it like you're in the big leagues, and that taught me really, really well. I ended up having a really, really good end of the year. The pressure's not as much on you in AAA, so I think it was good to learn how to just play with no pressure and then just get back into the big leagues.
So 2022, you have a chance out of nowhere, right?
Yep.
To at least be on the World Series roster with the Astros.
Yep.
Take us through that moment and what happened there.
That whole playoff run was incredible, obviously. Unfortunately, 𝗬𝗎 got hurt in Game 5, so we weren't sure what was going to happen. I was on taxi squad, so I was doing everything at the field, and then I go to the field on Game 6, and they told me that I was going to be active for this game. And 𝗪cie actually told me I have the opportunity to go win us the World Series, and I got chills just saying it now. And in the dugout the entire time, full uni on, and getting ready to hit in the middle of the game, pinch hit opportunities, whatever it was. I was ready to play. I was there, and then obviously just winning the whole thing was really, really special. I was obviously spoiled. I got to do it in my first year.
I got to go on the field for the trophy celebration, which was incredible, and just be a part of that. They brought all the family members down. We're embracing, and like on the field, there's confetti everywhere. The fans are going nuts. I remember he looked at me, he's like, I gotta go do the champagne. I was like, go do the champagne, buddy. I'll be waiting right here for you.
But it's a moment that I want to get back to, and I think it gave me that taste, and now it makes me want to do it with the White Sox.
This sport, this game can take you in a lot of different places. You're with the Astros, you probably think, I'm hopefully going to stay with the Astros forever. That'd be amazing.
Yep.
But on July 28th, 2023, you get traded to the White Sox for Kendall Graveman.
Yep.
How'd you find out?
Got the call. I was in Vegas. I was actually on the IL at that point, so I was coming back from a minor oblique thing, and then I was supposed to play that night. I was supposed to DH, and then I got the call from Houston telling me that they traded me to the White Sox. Then I got the call from the White Sox saying, hey, welcome to the White Sox.
Now it's Korey Lee. Hits this one well out to left, and it is gone.
Called me, he's like, so, Chicago. And I was like, yeah, what are you thinking? He's like, well, now I'll be in Arizona for spring training. Are we living together next year during spring training? And I'm like, you bet we are. This is our second spring training living together. And we found a house right in between our two complexes, and it's like, it's the only time we get to spend a ton of time together because he's off playing the season and I'm traveling around to all of our affiliates working with our guys. So we operate on the same schedule, just very different parts of the country.
Do you remember the call you got from Andrew Vaughn?
Oh yeah.
Reuniting with him.
Yeah, he actually knew probably like 2 days before it that they were going to. So they were talking to 𝗻𝗀 about it.
Trying to get some
trying
information
to
about
get
you.
the back
Should we
end
really
stuff
trade for
about this
Korey
guy.
Lee?
Yeah, and he ended up texting me as soon as it happened, and he congratulated me. I hopped on the call with him, and it was like we never left college again. So he was nice enough for when I got up here in 23 to let me stay at his house and everything, and it was, like I said, it's good to have a friend like that.
Yeah. Watching you play, there's a toughness there. Do you feel like there's some South Side in you?
I think you got to play hard, man. It's a tough game. There's people across on the other dugout that are even playing harder, and I think you got to know that you belong. You got to know that you're going to go out there with a fight, and you're going to play hard, and I'm going to give it everything that I got every day.
There he goes. Throw it out to second base. Got him. Good.
Being in Chicago, do you have a favorite story or a favorite experience you've had living in Chicago, playing in Chicago?
The river, the lake is fantastic. That's one of our off day things that we like to go do is hop on a boat, go out in the lake, and just spend the day at the lake. It makes me feel at home a little bit. I'm the ocean guy, dude. I'll go spend every day at the beach, so it kind of gives me that home feel of going out of the water, being on a boat, being with all the guys, and I think it's one of the special things that we have here in Chicago is the whole lake scene, and you're in the city and you're in the middle of the water too, so it's a good time.
Three-two, and he caught him looking.
That sinker baller, you can get out of trouble in a hurry, and he got out of that one.
It started with my grandfather. He coached for the Lexington Blowfish. It's a collegiate summer league. So I used to be the bat boy out there. I used to go shag BP and everything, and that's kind of like where I first kind of like fell in love with the game. And I still call him after starts and on a regular basis and talk baseball.
How about Jonathan Cannon blowing it past Mike Trout?